I've always avoided helmet discussions on this channel, but here's a whole video about helmets and why I decided to wear one every day now. Hello, I'm probably riding my bike. Some of you may have noticed, and many of you have actually commented on my videos, that I've started wearing a helmet on all my bike rides. Previously it was more kind of sporadic use of wearing one. I'd go through phases and then it would get too cold and I'd want to wear my beanie, or it'd get too hot and I'd want to wear my cap. I'm not really a fan of a cap underneath the helmet. It gets too hot. And a beanie just won't fit. I still think and always thought it's more of a personal choice to wear one, even though I just knew it was better to do it anyway. I'd occasionally get called out in the comments, people getting angry about me not wearing one. I just blocked the word helmet in the comments because I didn't want to get into the discussion of wearing helmets, but now here I am talking about wearing helmets in a whole video. In Korea, helmets are actually required by law, but the law isn't enforced, and you see a majority of people not wearing one. Maybe not the majority, it's about 50-50. I don't think helmets should ever be mandatory, and I think the legal mandates to wear one are a terrible idea. When you make helmets mandatory, the number of cyclists actually drops, and that makes the roads less safe for everyone because there's fewer cyclists on the road. There's safety in numbers. Also, making helmets mandatory seems like a cop-out for politicians and councils. It's much cheaper just to tell people they have to wear helmets than to make protected bike lanes and infrastructure. It's putting the liability of safety onto the rider. While we're talking about safety, it's a good chance to talk about the sponsor of this video, Insta360. This whole video was shot with the Insta360 X4 Air, and I've noticed when I have this camera on my bike, cars definitely notice and drive a bit more cautiously around me. It's the second of the 360 cameras that I've tried out. It's smaller and cheaper than the X5 that I have too. Even cheaper right now because it's the early summer sale for the next few days. Check out the link in my bio for that. I've been finding myself using the 360 cameras more because I like that you can just start recording and not really think about your shots and reframe them later. So when I'm looking back at my rides in the editing process, I even see things I didn't notice before because I've got the whole 360 image. You can see the different mounts that I've used. I had them on the handlebars earlier in the video, and here's the tail mount, which is definitely noticed by cars. There is actually a road mode like what you have in a black box in a car, which records a loop in case you want to be able to protect yourself if you get into any accidents. Yes, this video is sponsored, but I think that this camera is a good entry point into the world of 360 cameras. I like to choose my own shots that I keep in the keyframing, but you can let the software for the camera do its own if you need to save time. So again, if you're interested, check out the link in the bio, use the code probably riding. I'm grateful to have them as a sponsor because they help keep this channel running. Back to talking about helmets. Helmets really are the absolute last resort of safety. They're only needed after proper infrastructure's failed. The true safety starts with street design, protected lanes and traffic calming. The helmet's just the last desperate backup plan. that we have to wear because our cities skipped the first steps. This piece of plastic on your head is doing the heavy lifting that concrete barriers and proper urban planning should have done in the first place. In the Netherlands or Denmark, you never see anyone wearing a helmet because they've got the proper infrastructure to keep them safe. Their first line of defence actually works. They don't need the last resort of helmets for a casual trip to the shops or for their daily commute. But the reality is I don't live in the Netherlands or Denmark, unfortunately, so I better wear a helmet. One thing you see or hear a lot, which makes me pretty angry, is when news of a cyclist's death on the road, people always ask, was he or she wearing a helmet? Were they wearing a helmet? Which sadly puts the blame on the victim. People rarely ask, was the driver distracted by their phone, or under the influence of alcohol, or driving too fast? So if I'm ever crushed to death by a huge SUV where the driver was distracted by their phone, at least you can say I was wearing a helmet. I said earlier it's a personal choice, and I still think that. I don't want to preach to anyone that I think they should or must. It's more comfortable and feels nicer not to have one, and we all do things that are bad for us and potentially can kill us. People smoke and drink. Driving a car is one of the most dangerous things you can do. We all still do these things. So there's no judgment from me. When I was a kid, my brother and I were well trained by our mum to wear a helmet. And we always did. Just as I got more into riding later on in life, I just kind of stopped wearing it without thinking about it. And my mum was very disappointed to see me in all these videos not wearing my helmet. And I have 3 extra special big reasons to wear one too. Hello. Hi boys. Oh. You haven't seen this one before. I'm going to be expecting my sons to wear their helmets, so I better set a good example for them too. I'm sure there's a lot more I could say, but I'm going to stop there. I've unblocked the word helmet in the comments, so you can say whatever you like. Just be nice to each other. Don't forget, if you're interested in the X4 Air camera, check out the link in the bio for 20% off in the summer sale. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. See you later.